Welcome back to the Side Table. This is episode like 32 or 33.
I think it's 33.
Okay, right on. And on Monday, we're doing the whole month of July for my class has been summer themed.
Mm-hmm.
And on Monday, we're going fishing, as in I'm cutting out 30 of these fish to put washers on. And then we're making fishing poles
With little magnets at the end?
Yeah.
All right.
To go fishing. But it's taking a really long time, and I was like, oh, I'll do it during the podcast because that's an hour. But I didn't realize this mic was picking up everything.
Yeah.
Oh.
It's picking up your cutting. It's picking up the elephant in the apartment.
Uh-huh. Well, that elephant is unavoidable. We have to talk about the elephant in the room. And
I see what you did there.
yeah, I know. Dude, my jokes today, on point. Oh shit, I cut the fish's tail. Okay. How have you been, Josh? Joshua.
I've been all right. You know, it's been really hot here, so that's been fun.
Good, you can take it.
I can take what?
The heat.
I mean, I'd rather not.
No, you can. I've had it for too long down here, so it's yours now.
Yeah, it's been like mid 90s all week, and you know, the usual 80 or 90% humidity that comes with it.
Uh-huh.
It's still pretty warm today, but it's only in the 80s.
I have been biking to and from work.
That's right.
Wednesday, Thursday, and Friday, the rain was supposed to get really bad.
Mm-hmm.
And it did, so I couldn't bike those days, which was super upsetting because I'm really enjoying it. But yesterday it was pouring so hard, and then Wednesday it was just pouring as well, and it was also thunderstorming probably since noon. And that went till at least 10.
Dang, you've ended up with a lot more storms than we have then.
Yeah, we had a lot. And it was supposed to do it this weekend. And I hope it doesn't, because I'm supposed to set up my garden today. I'm doing that after this. And then my birthday is tomorrow. So I wanted to walk downtown and visit the shop. Sarah, what? So I wanted to visit the shops downtown.
Nice.
Because walking downtown's pretty fun.
I realized that's this morning. Happy early birthday. That's tomorrow for you.
Oh, thank you. Thank you. Yeah, it's very exciting.
You can be old with me.
Sarah, stop.
You said you were setting up a garden. Is that something there at the apartment complex or?
No, it's on my balcony.
Oh, okay.
I been wanting to like find a hobby that uses my hands more, that there's not too much of a learning curve.
What were you planning on planting?
I think I just wanted to do flowers, and then maybe some herbs if I can find them. But
that's one of the things I keep meaning to do is to set up a little herb garden, whether it's inside or out.
Abe had this really cute one that he got. It was in this really nice little wooden windowsill basket that his kitchen has a window that's almost, goes past the waist. So the little herb box can just chill on the windowsill, and he can just go in his kitchen to the window, cut what he needs for cooking, and then throw it in his dishes.
That's cool.
And that's really neat.
That's what I want.
Yeah, and I also wanted to just make it just pretty on the balcony. I don't know how much I'm going to get because I don't want to go overboard. But I wanted to get I really like succulents a lot, and they're not, hard, easy to kill. So
Right. You'll just have to bring them in mostly come wintertime.
yeah, which will be kind of cool because then I'll have plants all over. Oh, I forgot to water the plants when I was cleaning today. I'll do that afterwards. But no, I'm very excited for that. It's going to be really fun. I'm hoping to get like hanging plants and then the ones that go over your like not banister, but I guess it would be
Over the railing there, just ones.
Yeah, there we
the
go.
planters that will just kind of hook over.
Yeah, and maybe get a big plant for inside. I've always wanted a really big plant.
I had one in school.
Really?
Yeah.
What kind was it?
It was just like a really big fern. It stood like three or more feet tall.
Oh snap! That's so cool.
Yeah, it was really cool to have, but it didn't take massive car rides very well, and
That's unfortunate, especially when you're in tech.
right. And so it didn't make the 8 or 9 hour trip back home.
That's so unfortunate.
It is, and I'd have more plants inside here, but the cats just want to pee in it and dig in it and then eat it. So it's
And most plants are poisonous for cats, I believe.
yeah, a lot of them
Or
aren't
most.
great. Ashley had bought a aloe vera plant for me one year, and like that's cool. I really like plants, but that's one of the ones that are toxic for cats. So
Oh, that sucks.
yeah,
You should get like the fake plants that look like ferns or succulents.
I guess, but then that's one more thing I have to dust and clean.
I guess so. It would make your house. It would add that pop, man.
Pop, or I could just
That
get
pop.
some hanging fixtures for the plants that the cats couldn't get to. I don't know.
I think it'd be cool, especially inside. By those windows. You have hooks there, right?
I'd have to put in some new ones. It wouldn't hold anything of weight, but yes.
Yeah, I'm curious how heavy how much weight the hooks out on our balcony can hold. There's two of them, one one on either side of the sliding door, and it can hold the bird feeder and the weight of a couple birds. So
I mean, as long as you don't get a massive hanging plant, it's probably fine then.
right. And I was looking on because we're just gonna go to Home Depot since it's across the street. And they had some really cool plants, but a lot of them are for, yards and people with houses.
I mean, you can put those in a pot like that, in a hanging plant.
Oh, I guess you could, couldn't you?
Especially a lot of like the, what are they? I can never remember the difference between the perennials and the annuals.
I wouldn't know.
Because
You would.
right, the phrase, the wording for those is stupid, and I've always hated it. But yeah, the ones that you can plant and you have to replant every year, those you can easily put in a pot and stuff.
Oh, right on. And I was hoping to get maybe some cactus. I don't know. I don't really know what I want it to look like. I think it would be cool to have the patio look similar to how like everything would look if the world ended, Mother Nature coming back and reclaiming everything. And
You could get a couple of vine-like plants then and just kind of let them go wild.
Yeah. That would be sick. I also wanted to get not so much a shelf, but like essentially cut a ladder in half, like from the top, and then lean it against the brick wall as a shelf,
Oh, okay.
and then stack like smaller plants on that, or
They,
have like the vine plant wrap around that or something.
I bet you Home Depot would have a shelf like that, because I know like the style you're talking about.
It looks cool.
They do look pretty cool, and they're good for like putting plants on like that you said.
And then they have downtown this massive, I don't know if it's an antique shop or just this hodgepodge shop of just, random stuff, almost a flea market essentially. and I wanted to go there tomorrow to find things to kind of decorate the balcony for more of that aesthetic, I guess. Since someone doesn't want to rearrange the apartment.
You just wait for her to not look and then do it.
I know I'm going to do that.
Don't do that. I was being sarcastic.
No,
That's what somebody
won't.
did to me.
I know. But she goes through the whole, like, we can do it, but then really it's like, she really doesn't want to. That macaroni smells awful.
Yeah, it's the one that you made me buy.
I didn't make you buy it.
Yeah, you
Did I put a gun to your head?
Essentially, you're like,
In
"Oh,
Meijer?
We're trying to be better. We're trying to be better. You should buy this vegan, gluten-free one."
Yeah, because all you eat is Garbo mac and cheese.
No, it's great. This is shit.
I feel like buying anything vegan and or gluten-free together, so not
Uh-huh.
or, but together just spells disaster.
It doesn't smell good.
I don't want to eat it anymore.
Okay, then don't eat
Don't
it.
eat it here.
Okay.
You're making me mad.
I told you to stay in the room, then neither of us would be upset. Yeah, it smells like the whole apartment now smells awful.
Way to go, Patrick.
It was just I don't know, just trying to eat healthy, you know.
I understand
And-
that.
I didn't realize it would smell that bad. That cheese smells disgusting. It almost smells burnt.
It's probably not
Yeah, did
even
I already
real
ask you?
cheese.
Right? Did I ask how you were doing?
I don't know. Did you?
I don't know. How are you doing?
Jeez, you never listen to me, do you? We've been sitting here
Again.
talking for like 15 minutes. You don't even
Oh,
remember
my-
what we talked about.
No, I didn't. No, sorry. I am getting really hot right now, so it's causing me to lose focus. We had the window open,
Mhm.
or the sliding door open, so we have this really nice breeze going. But I had to shut it for recording because of the birds and all the car noises, and we've been having a lot of sirens lately. And I shut it, and now it's just like a heat box in this little corner that I'm in.
Yay.
And it's driving me nuts. Side note, though, I did see the most terrifying thing this morning while I was cleaning. It was this bug. I have a picture of it. I'll send it to you.
A bug is the most terrifying thing you've seen.
Oh no, it was almost otherworldly. Let me do this through my web browser, which will take much longer than actually just
Getting your phone out and
Yeah, I'll just use my phone. Yeah, so I'm vacuuming in our room, and I go to one of the corners, and this thing just crawls out of the one of the corners, like, you know, the corner between the door and the wall, and just starts crawling up the side of the wall. And it looks straight out of some fucking, like, Cthulhu thing. Oh, I hope the picture isn't too blurry. I didn't want to get too close to it.
yeah, you were
It just
probably
gave me-
like panicked while taking this photo, and
It gave me goosebumps. I'm like, oh.
it's coming for you.
Yeah, it's kind of blurry.
Now all you'll think about when you go to sleep at night is, oh my god, is there another one?
Yeah, that's what I was thinking while I was vacuuming, because this thing would be awful. But yeah, it's out of. I thought it was in focus, but you can still see all the legs and the long antenna of it,
Oh yeah.
and it's just. It was disgusting. It looked just.
It almost looks like a millipede.
See, that's what I was thinking because of all the legs in that, but again, don't really know bugs all that well.
I don't either.
But it was terrifying. It was so gross. It just gave me just chills of this, like, this thing's real. This thing's in the world, you know?
Okay, yeah, it's a Michigan house centipede.
Really? Gross. I
Wow.
don't like how it's called, house centipede.
It's because they like their house.
Ew.
At least, they're, harmless. But yeah, that's totally what it is. It's a house centipede.
Oh, they're disgusting. And I sucked it up in the vacuum. And it's gonna spawn and take over my life. Or get into my ear or something. Have you ever had a bug in your ear?
I mean, I've had like bugs fly into my ear, like, gnats and mosquitoes and that sort of thing.
I've had a bug while I was biking this week. Hit me in the face. And you're just like taken aback, like, oh!
Smack.
Yeah. And then when it happened, I pictured just this giant splatter on my face, wiping the guts off.
Oh, yeah. Nice.
It was disgusting.
Lovely.
Right. Have you been playing any games?
No, I've been kind of at a loss of what to occupy my time with lately.
Ooh, how does that feel?
It feels
How does
great.
that feel? Do you have much time or?
Yeah, I'm generally home by 5 or a little after, and I have time. I'm just not sure what to do. None of the games at the moment are striking my attention or attention span. It's a little warm to do a lot of outside yard projects, and so I'm still figuring something out, something to do with my time.
I got you. I agree with that. With attention span of games, I was talking with Ashley about this yesterday, and I just feel like as I've gotten older, my attention span has just drastically decreased for gaming. And she mentioned, that's happened with her in reading, and I wonder if it's just because I did it a lot, as a kid, played a lot of video games or whatever, and
I think it's
she mentioned that she's read like a lot of books, so she's kind of just, I have found other things to occupy my time with.
yeah. I think it's just kind of a growing out of the hobby.
Oh, which is really sad.
In a way, but at the same time, you had all these years and experiences with that, and they're still valid and good. So, and it's not like you completely drop those hobbies; they're just no longer that focus.
That's so sad. That's sad to accept. Maybe that's why I feel so bad about not completing games.
Just feel
It's
like
'cause maybe-
losing some sense of that.
Yeah, maybe like innately I'm just like, oh, I'm growing up. And I have to use my time for other things. Adult
No.
things. Yeah. That's that really sucks. That's making me really melancholy at the moment. I haven't beaten The Last of Us yet though. I'm still working on that. I've realized, kind of going to the time thing, I think I've spent so much of my time trying to do stuff and accomplish things, and nothing's really come of that or happened, that I've kind of just realized that my time after work and stuff is meant more for, I guess, just chilling.
Or doing whatever you derive
Like-
the most enjoyment from at the moment.
Feel like, yeah, like this week I watched the Watchmen show on HBO. I did a lot of that, and that just kind of took up most of my free time. I did end up going, I did do something this week with other people. I went to one of Sarah's softball games on Thursday,
Oh, nice.
and that was kind of fun because I like going to sports games and stuff just because that's what a good chunk of my childhood was spent doing.
Right.
Going to like either my sports games or siblings. And, traveling a lot. And then with that travel came ritual things that we did as a family. If we went to a big city, we'd, go maybe shopping a little bit, or we'd go out to Starbucks or go out to eat. So that was really fun. Though the day of, it might have been actually while we were driving to the game, because her best friend Kayla is on the team as well. It's a rec team.
Mm-hmm.
And we were going to go hang out at Kayla's for a little bit prior to the game and just kind of chill, I guess. And while we're driving there, Sarah mentions, "Oh, so Kayla's new boyfriend might be there, so you might be sitting with him at the softball game." And I just turn and look at her, and I'm just like, did you really
ready to spring? Way to spring that on me.
Did you really just Shanghai me into doing that? And
Yes.
she's like, yeah. And as I've gotten older as well, I just don't talk as much, or I choose carefully what I say, and don't impulsively say things or try to be the center of attention or anything.
Mm-hmm.
Kind of share the conversation, and when we're waiting for him to come over, first we had dinner, and I had this nasty grinder from Mancino's. It was the taco grinder. Never have the taco grinder from Mancino's.
Good to know, because I've never had that one.
I should have went veggie, because the veggie one is bomb, but they used, it was just awful taco meat. They put a lot of it on there, so it made the whole sandwich soggy. And it tasted better cold, though, which was weird. And I got the full, the foot. It wasn't even I think it was bigger than a foot long.
Yeah, I think their fulls are 18 inches.
Yeah, and because Kayla was buying dinner, she said, it was fine. I'm like, okay, yeah, I'll eat it. But I ate half of it, and I'm like, this is so gross. I don't know if I can eat the
rest.
Yeah, the other half, and I felt so bad because she, spent $10 buying dinner for me. I'm like, Kayla, next time you come over, I will buy you dinner. I feel so bad. It just was not good. And after that, we were just kind of chatting. We were waiting for her boyfriend, or I don't know if they're dating now, or I don't know, and to come over. And Sarah uses the bathroom, and during that time, her boyfriend or lover, or whatever, his name's Bryce, I'll just say Bryce, calls, and she's chatting with him, and then Sarah's still in the bathroom, and Kayla comes back and tells me, "Just so you know, he's quite the talker." And I'm just like, oh.
Great.
Oh, no. and like, well, I guess it is what it is. I'll just take it.
Roll with it.
Yep. And we get there, and immediately when he comes to Kayla's, I immediately got the impression of he is a lot younger than I am. And that felt weird. And he has he's really cool, though. He's super nerdy. We have very similar interests. He's really cool conversationalist. He's really, really fun to chat with. So I was super thankful for that. But he does look super young. He kind of has that high school. He's gonna be changing from high school look, face shape, wise to adulthood.
Yeah, but not all of us can, grow beards when we hit 18.
Oh no, it's not like that. Not in that sense. He's has a baby face that's growing. Will be defined as he gets older.
Mm-hmm.
Just observation wise, and the way he talked and stuff. I'm like, oh my god, I think you might be really young, and he's 22.
Okay, yeah.
And which is not young, but
22 is a kind of a weird age where you get the range from a very I guess, a little bit more immature to, a range from that to adults that, kind of have things sorted out. And
or it, like figure like there's so much. I feel like between 21, 22 to now our age, you learn and grow so much. Me, at least, that's what I experienced a lot. And it was just weird seeing, and weird in a good way, because it was like taking me back to when I was that age. His opinions and stuff. I'm like, oh, of the same interests we have. I was like, oh my god, I thought this way when I was younger. This is weird to see in
a little
someone
self-reflection.
else, like observing it. And I don't know, it made it more relatable. So yeah, he's super cool. It was just the whole situation of, oh, by the way, so her boyfriend's gonna be here, and I'm like, wait, what? And then I knew we'd get along fine, but I didn't realize we would have that much in common because I thought he was gonna be a sports guy.
Gotcha.
Or like a bigger guy, and
bro.
I'd have to, and I'd somehow have to relate to being macho masculine or something.
You could
that's
talk
always
about
like
the Packers and
yeah, and I could talk about football, soccer, and that's about where it caps out. Or badminton.
I don't think that's a macho sport.
It's macho posh, I'll say.
Yeah, it's a little more posh.
And that's what I was just concerned, and I realized I should stop making assumptions because he was a really nice dude. But what ended up was the softball game. They played 2 games. The second one got canceled because of lightning. But it was really funny because while I was talking with Bryce and stuff, he would see lightning and he would end like every sentence, like this happened 4 or 5 times with you should probably tell someone about that. So we'd be talking about Watchmen. He'd go, yeah, Dr. Manhattan did this, blah blah blah. I think I should probably tell someone about that. And or just dropping something, he would say, we should probably tell someone about that. Maybe after this inning, I'll tell someone about that. I'll go over and say something. Like he just kept that was his thing, and I was trying so hard not to laugh at him because I'm like, everyone knows what's going on. Like it's okay, I understand. And
right, it probably just came from a place of concern and was like looking for some reassurance from you of, oh yeah, we should maybe not be out here.
yeah. And he's like, yeah, they have like metal bats and stuff, and I'm just like, okay, yeah, I mean, if it's bugging you, then say something, and I would say that, like, reassure him while also trying not to laugh. It was really funny. But no, he was a cool dude, and I was glad we did that. We went out about and did something, that wasn't just
the usual
chilling at home or sitting on my balcony doing much. But no, outside of that, I haven't done much. Though I have realized, I kind of forgot how at the end of the week how exhausted I am from work, just like totally drained. And after I played Loop with Ashley last night, like, okay, I'll play some Last of Us because I'm at this one part that I wanted to beat because the game has gotten very hard. And I sat down on the couch to play. It was probably shortly after 10, and I woke up at like 1:40 in the morning, and the screen is still on. I'm like, oh no, I did it again.
Oops,
I did it again.
Did
it again.
No, yeah, work sometimes is just like you get home and you're like, I'm tired.
Yeah, so tired. It's nuts. It really is. Like, have you ever babysat before?
Not
Don't
really.
strike me as
no.
a babysitting kind of guy.
I don't know how to interact with children.
I got you. Like whenever I don't feel this now, but whenever I used to babysit, you eventually got to the point where you were kind of counting down when the parents were supposed to be home because it's a new type of just being drained, like a different type of
A new level of exhaustion.
Yeah, and I don't have that anymore because now I have to do it 8 hours a day. But at the end of the week,
It just all
it's
kind of
what
hits you.
what I forgot how much it hits you, and you're like, oh fuck, I'm tired. And yesterday we did, because we're doing a summer theme, like I mentioned earlier. So we had a beach day yesterday. So I made a makeshift sprinkler, propped it up and stuff, so it was misting around for the children. And my head teacher made a blanket like in our sand pit and put an umbrella so it was, you know,
The beach.
like we're at the beach. And it felt it took me back to when I was a kid at my grandparents and that, where my grandpa would set up a sprinkler and all the cousins would be over and we'd play outside all day, you know, we'd grill out and stuff. Just this really like pretty nice small family gathering.
Mm-hmm.
And it at the end of it all, I always felt exhausted as a kid, you know, just like you're like, oh, I'm tired. I've done a lot. And thinking of that and realizing, you know, how similar it was to what I was doing yesterday, I got so tired because you're just chilling, you're in the sun.
Oh yeah, just being outside most of the day is. It's a different
yeah.
kind of tired, but yeah.
Yeah, because since it's nice now, we're outside. Oh, excuse me. Probably an average of 6 to 7 hours a day
Oh wow.
playing with them. We go in for nap time, which is about an hour and a half to 2 hours, and potty breaks in that.
Mm-hmm.
But no, we're outside most of the day just playing in the sun. And it's really nice. Like I just don't like air conditioning, especially after being in quarantine. Just the feel of air conditioning outside of, like in the car and that, it just feels fake and really cold to me. Now, except like right now, I guess. Right now it's pretty fine, but
Just because you're in a hot room.
yeah, and I don't know. It's just really nice being outside now because I guess I've never been outside as much as I have prior to getting this job because all my jobs required me to be inside.
Right. And that's just the majority of your day.
Is inside, and then you come back home and that's inside as well. Are you throwing that away, Sarah?
I'll leave it for you.
Okay, I'll eat it. What? She didn't eat her mac and cheese because I made fun of it.
Way to go. Again.
Don't throw it away, I'll eat it.
Not
Okay.
putting it in the fridge.
Oh, that's fine. Couple quarrels. Don't throw it away. What's the biggest fight that you want to share that you've had with Ashley?
We haven't really had any major fights.
Over something, I guess, just pick a silly fight you've had where you both just realized how silly it was at the end.
I don't really have one because I don't know. There's not really any fighting to speak of. Like I'll get frustrated if she doesn't pick up after herself as much. Or like, you know, take care of the dog in some way or the other, but it never becomes like an argument.
Right on.
Whether it's one person or the other, it's like, okay, yeah, I'll do better.
I respect that. I do have to God, I just don't have anything to talk about this week, man. My life has been boring.
You're telling me.
It's been full of I'm like I am having a hard time discussing things at the moment. So whoever's listening to this, if you made it this far,
Congratulations.
I'll give you a gold star.
Usually my life is just extremely boring, and so I rely on you to share things and discuss, and then I'll be like, okay, yeah, I'll bounce some words off of this.
Yeah, I know, and whenever I do that, I always feel like I'm just taking over.
Oh no.
So I'm like, oh, I should lean back. You know, I should chill out because
It's all right.
I don't want to.
Yeah.
Because you're a person too, Joshua.
Oh, thank you. I'm a robot, but thank you anyway.
Oh, wow.
Well, no, I've gone to work this week. And
Share your bird update story.
oh, I did have a bird update story. It's not, you know. So I'm at work. I text
You
Patrick.
got to start with the theme song.
Don't worry, I can put it in post.
Bird update.
So yeah, I'm at work yesterday, and I'm on my break, and so I'm in kind of like the food court area, and it looks out on a little
You have a food court?
more or less. There's not much to it. They have a company that comes in and stocks different things from, you know, chips and like frozen meals you would find at the grocery store, and soda and energy drinks, and they even do some like fresh sandwiches that they make and then like stock in the coolers every day.
Oh, wow, that's kind of nice.
It is nice. Especially
How much are they? Are they free?
No, they're like, I like the sandwiches are about $4, and then beverages are like usual beverage prices. But anyway, so I'm in the food court area, and it overlooks they have a small garden area where you can reserve a plot and grow things.
Oh, that's pretty cool.
Yeah, kind of a neat thing. Anyway, so there's a lot of plant life and outdoorness, even though it's smack dab in, you know, a pretty busy commercial area.
Uh-huh.
And I see this squirrel running around outside, and then out of nowhere, this robin just like dive bombs this squirrel as he's trying to run to this nearest bush. And I'm like, oh, that was kind of weird.
Uh-huh.
And then I see another robin come, try to dive bomb him. And so there is just this squirrel booking it across like this grassy open part of the lawn, and there are these two robins just chasing him and constantly dive bombing him.
Oh my god.
And I'm just guessing it got too close to their nest or whatever, but they were ruthless. They were going after him.
That's really funny. I guess I didn't think robins would be. I guess maybe they were just being, you know,
Territorial.
Yeah. Not aggressive, where they were just going out and.
Right, they're not blue jays.
Yeah, blue jays are dicks.
Yes, they're beautiful, but man.
Yeah. Did you know they're not even blue? That's just how. It's kind of like polar bears or whatever. How the light reflects off their feathers.
Light and
fractures
color
it.
is such a bizarre world to
Thing.
dive into. Like the color orange, for example, doesn't really exist.
Really?
Yeah, it's like a lighter hue brown is all it is.
That's weird.
Yeah, color
that's-
is weird.
That's really weird. What's also weird, I think, is how our brain sees things is everything's upside down and then gets turned right side up.
Right, like a classic camera lens functions.
Yeah, which is super weird, because then you're just like, am I upside down right now? Or no?
And then your
Like,
brain
why
is entirely relying on not entirely. Well, yeah. On your equilibrium of realizing that you're upside down or right side up.
Uh-huh. The human mind, the human body is incredible.
Very complicated.
It's nuts. It's really nuts how evolution has evolved so much to take us to where we are today. You know, just how like developed our brain is and how developed our body is and our whole physiology and that.
And just the scale of time, it takes to
do
make
that?
on the order of, yeah, just tens of millions of years. And then
Of
and then-
evolution.
well, even to evolve from, some other similar organism, not to mention, the billions that it takes to evolve from, a smaller life form. Just like trying to think of like the scale of four, guess what, the Earth is, 4.5 billion years old or whatever.
Uh-huh.
And just trying to grasp that length of
It's
time.
really hard.
Because let's say a person lives to 100. 10 generations would only get you to 1,000 years.
Ooh, we're really a blip.
Right. 10 generations only gets you 1,000 years, and on that really, really expanded lifespan, which it would be much more generations than that, but just for simple numbers. And you get, 100 generations gets you about, 10,000 years or whatever, and that's a very tiny, small, minute amount of even a million, let alone the 100 million or a billion. It's just,
The fact that dinosaurs are, were a thing and walked this earth is nuts.
I think the existence of dinosaurs, and then a lot of the deep ocean life that exists now is a lot more
so alien.
It's a lot more fascinating than, hypothetical alien life forms that probably don't exist anywhere near us or haven't existed in our time frame, may have existed in the past or may exist in the future. Like,
Right.
that's more interesting to me because it's real and within our grasp.
Yeah, no, for sure. I watched on an episode of Hot Wings where Ricky Gervais was on.
Mm-hmm.
One of the questions that the host was asking, Sean
Evans.
Sean Evans. He's like, "You're a big animal lover. Why are you so, why do you love animals so much? Why do you know so much about them? Why are you so for like charities and stuff?" And he's just like, Earth is already, fucking magical itself. Why the fuck would I worry about something in space that I don't even know is there, And he's just describing, these different facts of whales and sea creatures and land animals and stuff. And it really put into perspective how, mind-blowing life on Earth is. And people don't really, I guess, most people don't take that.
And appreciate it.
They usually take it for granted and just kind of... like when I was watching... I kind of had like a similar experience when I was watching a lot of The Dog Whisperer. And learning about like training a dog and how you have to approach training a dog not as like a human training a human, because that's how we want to perceive the dog, as it's another human.
Right, an extension of ourselves.
Yeah, but really it's an animal that needs a pack, and you have to go and revert to being, you have to put yourself in the mindset of being a dog and how you have to be top dog. Like you have to be the pack leader in order to just like fully train and understand your dog more. And ever since watching that show, just, biking around Ann Arbor, there's a ton of people who walk their dogs, but you can tell like how much time and effort the person has put into training the dog and like doing that, because you can tell that, that dog totally thinks he's the fucking pack leader, because the human is just like, come on, let's go, and the dog is just sniffing away or trying to chase after a bicycle or do things like that. And it's always eye-opening to think of something from like that different perspective of like a dog, or trying to, if that made any sense.
Yeah, I see where you're coming from.
Yeah, it's just really, it's fascinating that just how there's so many different social circles in the whole world, amongst animals, amongst humans, amongst whatever.
Oh, speaking
Very
of
fascinating.
speaking of dogs, so Sam blows out like his undercoat every spring summer, and
Uh-huh.
I spent like an hour and a half brushing him yesterday. I'm gonna send you a picture of this pile
Oh
of
wow.
fur.
Is it a puppy itself?
It could be. And like this isn't a light pile. This is a pretty compact pile. And then as soon as it sends here for you. Anyway, yeah, it was just like so much fur came out of this dog. And I only stopped because he was tired of being brushed, and I didn't want to, feed him a ton of treats.
Uh-huh.
And maybe this will send eventually. That was fun.
That also amazes me is how much like hair falls out of your head.
A fair
Like
bit.
Sarah
Yeah.
has so much hair that just falls out, and it's everywhere. It's just, how are you not bald? You know?
I generally don't find too much of my hair around.
Yeah, neither do I.
I find a little bit of Ashley's, but not like
Holy moly!
yeah. So it's sitting there in front of the microwave, and it's a full size microwave.
Oh my gosh,
So much hair.
that's too much.
It is.
That's too much. That's the Labrador, you know. Oh, and I guess the mountain dog in there too.
Yeah, it's mostly the Pyrenees. They have that thick undercoat.
Oh my gosh. That's not fun. See, that's why when I get a dog, it's gonna be a short-haired dog. I'm not dealing with that. Oh my god, that's like one of those big furry bunnies.
Oh, it's way bigger than a bunny.
The big furry ones that are huge and fluffy.
Okay, it might be about the size of one of those.
Yeah, there are so many bunnies at work in the backyard, like in the little backyard we did.
Mm-hmm.
Well, that I did. There's just I think there's like 3 or 4 rabbits that are just
Hanging out.
just chilling in there. Oh yeah. I had a story. I forgot what it was. Anyway, I'll talk about this before we end the podcast. I'll mention this one story. It's a moment I had playing The Last of Us. I just wanted to just put into perspective how challenging it is, or try to. So, I'm playing on survival mode. So, the reason I mention that is to #humblebrag.
Yep.
And to mention how, just to put again, hopefully help put into perspective how hard it is. The enemies are more aware. They do more damage. They hunt you down. Like, it's ridiculous. But the big thing that happens during survival mode is the items are few and far between. Finding crafting components and finding ammo is very hard. Or finding level up bits or things of that nature. It's incredibly hard. It's super difficult. Like, you can't find anything anywhere. And I don't know if it's randomly generated or not, but I feel like I'm getting boned a lot. But I chose this way of life. So I get to this one part where, because how like the structure of the game is divided is there's this big, like, it'll either be this little open world bit with different places to explore, and then within those places are these encounters with enemies that you'll have to navigate your way through to get like the items or the story bits that are in those sections. And it can be pretty challenging. Or it's divided into just encounter moments where they set you up on this map and you have to make it through the whole map to progress to the next story bit. So basically kind of like a, regular game per se.
Right.
Just a little more streamlined. And I get to this spot where it's this neighborhood and there's this big open road, and on each side are houses and occasional corner store or what have you. And I'm running through the whole area using my hearing sensibility. Wow,
That's how hearing works.
Sensibility, yeah. To see if there's anyone nearby. No one's showing up, and so I get to this one hardware store where you have to go in through a hole in the wall, and it leads to a bar. And I get to that hole in the wall, and then I hear the main character goes oh shit, it's a Shambler, which is a new enemy type of the infected that you were introduced to back in a very terrifying part of the game. It was so well done. It was terrifying. Mm-hmm. And just picture running through a subway and all that's lit, the only lighting source are flares. And during that, you're being hunted by this gang that you're trying to, basically sneak into to deal with stuff. And along the way, there's all these clickers and that you can kind of coordinate to have them attack the enemy instead of dealing with the enemy yourself. So while you're luring these clickers to just completely obliterate these poor men, you just hear them screaming in the background and their noise is going off, and you're navigating through this subway that's just lit by these emergency flares and that. It was terrifying, but you come across these Shamblers, which are these big, hunchback, bloated infected that are armored because of their infection, that throw little acid bombs that burn your skin over time and poison you, or they self-explode to release all this shit. And they're terrifying because they make this rattling noise, this breathing, and then they are kind of slow and lumbering, so when they start running after you, they you can see their momentum build and chart. Oh, it's awful. It's terrifying. And so I hear one of those, and I'm just like, oh shit. So this is the main way to go. This is I have to make it through this to advance the next part. So I'm like, okay, I'll deal with that later. I'll explore the other side real quick that I haven't explored. So I did that, and I come across this little shed behind this house, and it has a dumpster that you can pull away. And seeing that there's no place to use this dumpster to elevate myself to hop over a wall or anything, the game tells me that it's there to block something from coming out. And before I pull it, I use my hearing sensibility.
Yeah, there it comes.
To see anything. And I see that there's just 4 regular infected grouped in this circle inside this little office shed garage thing. And so I'm like, okay, so there's four of these things here. If there's 4 of these things in this little building, that means there's something good in this building. So how am I going to deal with this? So I pull the thing aside, the dumpster aside, and then I set one of the new I guess they had them in the first one. It's basically a makeshift landmine. And when they come near it, it just fucking obliterates them, and it's just fantastic. And I set one by the door. I open the door. I throw out my shotgun because I found some shotgun bullets, and one comes out, is obliterated by this thing. The other 3 come out. I obliterate them with the shotgun, just one blast. So I took out 3 with one blast. So you're like, oh my god, I have a shotgun blast left. You're just like, ooh, I got ammo. And then I hear screams echoing from the other side of the street where that Shambler was. And I'm just like, oh fuck. They heard it. They heard
They're all coming.
They heard it. And so you hear the screaming, and all these infected, probably about 5, like bust through different parts of the house that I just had to crawl through to get to this shed. And so I'm like on top of the dumpster in like classic like Left 4 Dead fashion, just like
Getting swarmed from all
trying,
angles.
yeah, and trying to use my ammo and like hit them in the head or like in the arm so they would be crawling, you know. And I eventually kill them. And I have, again, since I am super item starved in this difficulty, then the Shambler comes through one of the houses, and I'm just like, no. And so I decide to go through the garage, because there's a garage door that I thought I could lift up. And so I run into this tiny garage office building thing, and the Shambler follows suit, and I realize it's a total dead end. And I book it out and make it to this main road, and I have enough materials to craft one bomb, one mine, and one Molotov. And with the Shamblers, you have to like bust off their armor with either something like heavy duty, like the shotgun blast, a Molotov, or the bomb. So it requires at least 2 of those 3 things to kill it. So you're using a lot of resources to take one down. And so I set this this mine in the middle of the road. I'm waiting on this car, and I'm just waiting for the Shambler to eventually stumble in it, and it stumble back through the house, back to like its main spawn point or main set route it has. And it probably took at least 5 to like 10 minutes of the most like agonizing like wait I've ever felt in the video game, because you're just waiting for it to come out, because you have like this glass bottle you were going to throw at it. No, I had a silent shot. I was going to hit it in the head to hopefully do damage, to lure it over to this bomb, and you're just waiting, and your heartbeat is elevating. It was already elevated before from like that rush of infected you had, you just fought off. You're waiting for it. It comes, and hello, Sarah. What?
Never mind.
And I'm waiting for it, and eventually it comes through. And you know that feeling when you have to go do something you're really nervous about, like let's say you have to go like speak in front of a meeting or something, or attend something out of your comfort zone, and you kind of are, the time between that and the event seems like forever.
Yes.
And you're just dwelling on it. That's what was happening. And I'm waiting for this Shambler to stumble, and it's taking forever. And finally, Sarah, I'm telling a very intense story that Joshua is fully invested in. Stop. She's doing creepy stuff. She's acting like the girl from the Grudge, or the little orphan, and she's just like would stop, and it was awful. Like, she does that a lot. And anyway, eventually it shows up. Heartbeat is just intense. I'm probably sweating right now from how fast my heart is beating, and at least pit sweating. My hands are actually getting sweaty too, so now I know how you and Sarah feel when playing video games.
That's right. It just instantly hold the controller and bam.
And I shoot it in the head, and it stumbles towards me, and it takes the explosion from the bomb, and I throw a Molotov, and it screams, and it like drops to its knees, and I'm like, oh my God, I did it. I did it. I was just like, whoo, I did it. Like, it was like that feeling you get after you beat, a From Software boss, after like just relentlessly throwing yourself against it. But like actually feeling success afterwards.
Right.
Is kind of how I felt, because you had to like plan and use stuff. Like you had to strategize.
And there's a lot at stake for it.
Yeah, and because the death animations in this game are like, I close my eyes during them because of how brutal they are. Yeah, and I didn't want to see the main character who I love go through all this. And so I'm finally done. I've had to I got that completely out of items now. Like, I have no ammo. I don't have a decoy brick or glass bottle to throw. I don't have any crafting components. Well, I do have crafting components, but in survivor difficulty, when you find a crafting component, it's like a fraction of what it actually would be. So it's like a quarter of nails or like a half a cloth that would equal a whole one that I could use to craft something. So it's a lot of like bits and pieces you end up finding that you have to eventually piece together. Whereas in lower difficulties, it would be, oh, I found a full thing of cloth to use to craft. And I had one more house to explore. I was avoiding it because prior to moving on, because when I went to it, it was a hole in a floor that led to a basement that was just illuminated by a red flare. And having flashbacks, I'm like, I will do this last and then come back to this. And so I'm thinking, after doing all of what I just recounted, nothing could be worse than what I just went through. So I scan the area, make sure I collect everything before advancing, drop down in this hole, and immediately am greeted by the sound of two shamblers.
Oh.
And all I found down in this basement was a single shotgun shell and a glass bottle. And so I had to end up like circumventing these shamblers. I had to like end up luring one and killing it with the mine and the shotgun blast, and then running around the basement trying to find materials while being chased by the other one to craft something, or at least find ammo or something.
Anything.
And I, eventually found a glass bottle to throw in its face, and its reaction was very funny. It was just like, what the fuck, kind of thing. And after I beat that and progressed, I didn't think the game could get any harder, and it did. But I will tell that tale for another time because we're approaching time. We're over time, but it got immensely hard. Like, it got to the point where I took a break for 3 days. Like, it was so hard. It's so difficult. Like, you have to just be on your A game for it. And I got past it, but I'll recount that later. But anyway, recommendation. I have one.
Oh, good.
I have two, actually.
Because I have
two.
0.
The first one is the Watchmen TV show on HBO. I really enjoyed it. If you like Watchmen and if you like realistic superheroes and like a gritty story that has meaning to it, check out Watchmen. The other thing is the channel I'm Brandon Ferris. Shout out to Abe for giving me a link to this guy's channel. I'll send you the link, Joshua, because I think you might actually find this very funny.
Okay.
His big video is he runs recipes through Google Translate and then tries to make that recipe that comes out from Google Translate.
Oh, jeez.
And picture that, and then picture a cross between Ryan Reynolds and like the awkwardness of Johnny Depp. And that's the main guy. Like, his humor and the way he does it is just so funny, and it was really enjoyable. So I sent you the one where he's making Google Translate makes eclairs.
Nice. I will have to watch this.
It's like 10 minutes. It's really funny. It was a good laugh this morning, so I highly recommend that. Outside of that, do you have any recommendations, Joshua?
I do not this week.
Right on. Anyway, thank you all for listening to this very weird podcast. I think the later half is going to be much better than the first half after when the bird update starts.
That's right.
So I hope you guys made it this far, and I hope you're safe, I guess. Have a wonderful day.
Bye.
Oh shit! I have to stop recording.
You do.